Today, we are trying to converse on our MAPAN ESG Summit 2026. We have almost the whole team here who are working very hard to get this summit running in high speed. So let's first go to Namin. Namin, can you please introduce what you are helping out us on for this summit?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Nermin. I am co-chair in the supply chain from the industry part, and I am helping in the logistics part of the summit, and working with the band and the rest to make it work.
Thank you, Namin. We next go to Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee, the young man, is one of the very few top 2% scientists in the world. Dr. Lee, over to you.
Hi, good day everyone. I'm Lee Cheng Hao from Taylor University. So yeah, I'm the secretary of this summit. So I'm in charging on oversee and helping, most importantly, helping chairmen and co-chairmen to oversee the whole progress.
Then we go to Prof. Susila, one of our very pioneer organizing committee chair, who has got us through to many journals. And in addition, she's also now helping out to screen through the papers for publication in the book chapters. Prof. Susila, over to you.
Hi, I'm Prof. Susila. I'm retired academic. I've been in education for over 40 years, and my passion is now with MAPAN as the founding member. And I'm looking forward to the summit.
Thank you, Prof. Susila. Without her, I think our academic track will be quite lowly put lah, in that sense. Thank you. We next go to Dato Sharifah. Dato Sharifah has been assisting MAPAN to get partnership to do a lot of these micro-credential plus accreditation programs. Over to you, Dato.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm representing CILT Malaysia. And in this course, I am being assigned to handle the award certification ceremony. Yeah. And beyond that, as mentioned by Dr. Ben, I'll be dealing with DRB Highcom University on the micro-credentials, which is one of the key areas that MAPAN is going to focus in the year to come. Be happy to join the team for the first time. To join MAPAN the first time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dato. We move on to Dr. Chan. Dr. Chan has been our key trainer for our ESG HRDF courses that we have conducted in quite a number of. Dr. Chan, over to you.
I'm Dr. Chan Ling Fun from Sunway University. I'm academia and also in charge of the champion of ESG. Those who want to know about ESGs, how the formations, innovations, can always looking for me. I'm the trainers for SME regarding the ESG implementations and also how to start with the ESG. So these are my short information. Thank you.
We have one more, Mr. Wen Chong. He represents Unex Industries, one of our industry partners. But for MAPAN, he actually helped us to manage carbon credit. Our summit is net zero. So he'll be one of the main driver, to ensure that this process of the summit being net zero is taken care of. Wen, over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Dr. Ben, thank you. My name is Wen Chong from Unex Industry, doing the automotive and auto care product, especially on the wiper system and also the building chemical. I will in charge on this IREX during the summit, some discussions and some Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you, Wen. We may now go into the conversation proper. Firstly, what is this summit for? Okay, the summit has got a theme called National Sustainability Reporting Framework, NSRF. what we wanted to broadcast to the Malaysian industries, whether they come from whichever segment or whichever sector, and also the academician, that NSRF is going to be the ESG standard for Malaysia. And with the law change in due course, every Sendirian Berhad will be required to report their ESG or non-financial reporting under NSRF. So when the law is changed, then NSRF will be something like an e-invoice or SST, for which every Sendirian Berhad would have to comply. That's the first message that we want to put to the market, because there are a lot of confusion in the market as to whether we have a standard that is applicable to every company. Yes, we have, and that is in the form of NSRF. Second, for us, we want to combine industry and academician together. So this is an ESG summit combining both domain of the businesses and the society, so that at least when it concerns the knowledge, then the academician provide all the necessary methodologies. Because in ESG, there are a lot of matrices, a lot of calculations of carbon, as what we call carbon accounting. Then the industry must then be able to receive this ESG knowledge and then adopt it so as they can report in the so-called annual report for the report to be consistent to what is required of under NSRF. So that's the so-called the second makeup of the summit. Thirdly, in this summit, we have 5 main topics. The first one is green financing. Second one is climate disclosure, and then ESG innovation, supply chain integration, plus finally circular economy. And all these 5 topics are intertwined. They need to be reported in the NSRF framework. Although NSRF actually focus on climate first. That's why there's this topic of climate disclosure. That's in a nutshell, what the summit is all about. We have a lot of events of this nature, whereby it is good in creating awareness. But we want to go beyond just knowing. We want to be able to equip the participants when they leave the 2 days conference, they are able to do something on the ground at their company or in their office. So this is where the concept of theory to practice comes in. So in the design of our 2 days conference, the first day we update all the participants as to what is the latest in the 5 topics that's happening now, and then how it frame into the NSRF parameters, so as they know how later on they can make up a proper report complying to the legal requirement. That's one, theory to practice. Secondly is we want them to really learn from the on-the-ground experience. So there is a sharing on day 2, whereby those people who have started ESG, who have done their report, they can share their journey of how they build the report up. Because to report, there are many things that needs to be done. You need to collect data, and then you must be able to count your carbon and then analyze them. Then later on, you have to do your sustainability milestone, and then you do your planning of how to go about reducing carbon. Because at the end of the day, the entire reporting must achieve the purposes of carbon reduction in the process of a business operation. Without decarbonization, then whatever you report is as good as just ticking the boxes. You basically did not help the country or the world as a whole to reduce carbon and to reduce global warming. And the climate action taken is when you do a report, you basically know where you stand. by having the report, then by also learning from the experience of those people who have walked through the way, then you have less wastage or less effort spent unproductively trying to produce a report which is law abiding as well as helpful for the business. The summit has two portions. One is academic portion. That's where we have call for paper, whereby all the postgraduate students can actually submit their papers. And there is also a call for participation, whereby industry included can also come in to submit their innovation on ESG, because ESG costs money. So the higher the creativity or making the job easier is an innovation that would assist the to reduce the cost of adopting ESG. So this part of the academic knowledge is brought to table, and then industry can then leverage on whatever the academician has researched on, and they have come up, with some. So the collaboration between the industry as well as academician must be there, so as the ESG process of practicing ESG can be more practical and more cost affordable. In terms of the participants, we hope industry will join, and those postgraduate students, eventually they will also work or they become their own bosses. So they will still come into business. So it is important that, at the earlier stage, we bring them together. Yeah, of course, we will also have regulators coming. We will also have, bigger companies like the MNCs or the GLCs, to a certain extent, we would also have foreign participants, our members from overseas coming. So there is a congregation of both local and international. So this is an international event whereby, all sorts of so-called society or community members coming together to share experience as well as to learn from one another. When we have what we call a public-private partnership, this is where the summit is different from the rest, in the sense that we have people from the regulating part who are in so-called monitoring, or who are so-called overseeing the law, because NSRF, as we mentioned earlier, is going to become a law. And we have the industry who are brought to understand that this NSRF is going to be applicable throughout, regardless of the size of the company, as long as they are Sdn Bhd. And then we have also this pipeline of the knowledge of ESG, including innovation. So all this, when come together, then it will make the adoption of ESG becoming easier, because there is a network now, and everyone are coming together and working towards only one direction, that is to report basing on our Malaysian ESG standard. Because currently there's also this confusion in the market, so many standards. If you are a company servicing MNC, you follow maybe 3 or 4 standards. You have, if you are a company servicing GLC, then you follow another few standards. So ended up, a company have to comply with so many overlapping, duplicating standards that become very costly. So it is good that Malaysia has come to a point of coming out with its own standard called NSRF, which combines, or which includes all the international standards, but taking in account our Malaysian conditions, and do certain modification to unify all these multiple standards.
As Dr. Ban has elaborated earlier, we are really entering a decisive phase of ESG transformation. The NSRF, RF, and international standards such as ISSB, IFRS 1 and 2 are accelerating expectations for credible climate and sustainability disclosures. So at the same time, global supply chains are increasingly demanding Scope 3 emissions data and responsible sourcing. So organizations that prepare early will gain access to capital markets and talent, while those which delay may find themselves excluded from global value chains. So this summit provides an opportunity for everyone, and especially those in the supply chain and companies, to actually get into the act as soon as possible and to move away from a compliance mindset to actual economic transformation, economic decision making. It would be difficult to say which comes first, but all three are important, and it's important that the governance structure be there. Right? We are talking about ESG, the governance is the paramount. For me, if you ask me, a clear understanding of the alignment of NSRF is really about getting the reporting and the regulatory expectations right. And second is, the actual conversion of the reporting requirements to actual decision making. And for making decisions, you need the data. So you need to have the appropriate platforms to provide those data so the organizations can use that for reporting as well as to actually do their strategies in terms of sustainability. And therefore it's very important that we have an ecosystem that allows for participants and for companies to actually to build partnerships across industry, academia, and policy making to accelerate this ESG implementation. From my own perspective of talking and being an educator, it's more the mindset change. If you ask 50% of people that I engage or talk to, actually feel that this is all not important. So they have not actually believed or bought into this ESG, importance of ESG and all that. So whereas the other half thinks it's very important. So there's still a 50-50 divide. So we need, hopefully this summit, I'm not sure if that we need to convert more people to actually understand and believe in the ESG, what shall I say, agenda. Because, and so when you come, the summit aims to give a 360-degree view of the ESG transformation. It actually shows it's actually meaningful. From my engagement with a lot of practitioners, for example, accountants, I'm an accountant, so is that many of them don't really believe it. They think it's more of compliance, it's just reporting because the regulators require it. They do not see how that will benefit their own organizations. So that, I think, is the major challenge for this ESG transformation. Organizations could do is basically, there are many courses that is being offered online and as well. So to actually get, it's actually coming from the, the tone at the top in the organizations. If the top management believes in this, they will then actually have in process what they need to do to improve and move on with the ESG transformation. So most of it, I think, is getting the top management buy-in. So hopefully this summit will actually get the buy-in from top management and their subordinates.
I hope that all the delegates will get some knowledge on how to implement the decarbonization technology strategies to their organizations. This is the first thing that, this is one of the main purpose of this summit want to do. So, and then secondly, I think not only the decarbonization strategies, I hope that those delegates, person who come, they can have more expansion on their network. And then the third one is, of course, because we have some core papers, so we expect there will be a lot of the academics is coming through into this summit. So there will be connections between industrial and academics. So this is what we wanted to see on there is a lot of the talks from a lot of the company. One of the very practical tool or self-check, we call it, from the SME crops. So during the sessions, the speakers will share how to help the organizations, the companies, how to self identify whether their companies is ready to report, or how to get into the way to in the sustainability routes. So there will be more than one. One of them is this from the SME crops. Other than the things that I mentioned, so we do have a lot of the knowledge sharing, so such as carbon credits. So because now carbon credit in Malaysia is actually quite a new thing. So those delegates and credit visitors, they will know more than they should have. So it will be benefit to them for them to know what should they do in the next step. I think one of the very big misconceptions about the ESG, everyone's thing is ESG is about spending a lot of money. This is one of the main reasons why a lot of the companies, especially SME, they're reluctant to do reporting, because they thought this thing is just spending money without getting any return. But in fact, ESG is actually helping them to move forward. Let's have a very simple example. Because of the NSIF, so all the PLC company, they had to report their emissions, and then slowly, scope 3, which is supply chain, they had to report as well. So those SME, majority of the vendor and supplier of the PLC are actually SME. So therefore, for now, the PLC, when they want to select or renew their vendors, so they will most likely request the vendor with ESG sustainability reporting out, because this will benefit to their own company so that they can have more data. So in turn, the SME, when they do the ESG, when they do the reporting, they actually get more chances instead of, they will get more income instead of they just pay the money. So this is one of the very important things that I wish I can correct through this summit.
Actually, look at the ESG. ESG frameworks is most important. I will see that not only compliant, a lot of people look at ESG as a compliant. In fact, it should be more from that perspective. Compliant is follow the implementation of the laws, then only you comply. But the ESG thing, it should be that initiative that done by public, and all the social responsibilities for the corporates to do that. So the framework from ESG should be move away from this compliant to be more efficient to the operations that implement the ESG. Then from there, only you can find out the innovative way to do a business, and you can be differentiate compared to the others. Then you will be win in the battles of this business world. So don't just focus on compliance, and ESG should be start with the initiative to helping our planet because of the climate change that impact a lot on our societies. So that's why with the climate change, a lot of things that we do, we also change because we want to reduce the carbon emissions in this atmosphere. That's why we introduce a lot of projects that can reduce the carbon, like EV vehicles and so on, these green renewable technologies. So I think that it should be the way that we look at the ESG. In fact, currently we are pushing a lot on ESG. In fact, SME can get a lot of loan or grants or subsidies to moving forward to compliance on this ESG. Actually, climate disclosures, actually, we are starting with a volunteer basis. that you try to disclose whatever you do that can actually reduce the climate effect to us. So in the initial ways that a company should do is looking at how they actually can reduce the emission of carbons. It should be start with net zero carbon first, because that will be a very urgent case. In fact, the Europe side, they already implement the carbon tax. So with that, implement carbon tax, and a lot of regions also set up the carbon exchange that you can offset your carbon before you reach to the country that have a high carbon tax. Okay, so before you actually export out your products, you should be looking at net zero, so that you can actually reduce on your cost of the tax. Okay, and the carbon tax natures is the price also difference between the regions. Europe side is about USD 80. Okay, and in this region, Asia's Malaysia, Indonesia's, these areas is only 20 USD. So you can see the difference between the cost. If you did not offset the carbon, you will be end up tax higher carbon. It should depend on the industry, whether you are in the 1, 2, or 3. So if every organization, they should start with what is their objective, okay, based on their company strategies, then see whether they are in the 1 or 2 or 3, and try to comply with that first. Just how I mentioned that the company should actually start with compliant. After compliant, then they should look at not only compliant, efficiency is a way how to reduce costs in terms of the ESG. Then they should look at how to innovate out from that. And last is to differentiate the companies with others competitors. So these are the 4 space that they can do. In terms of AI, a lot of people is talking about AI. In fact, AI is just a tools to helping everybody. It's like initial state that people without computers, then with the computers helping people to more efficient in terms of the productions, and come to the AI, it's the same thing also. AI is actually helping us to be more efficient to achieve something. So in terms of AI, how AI can help the ESG, it can help ESG in terms of preparing reporting. Yeah, it can help us to know about what is the trend look like, and AI also can simplify the standards for us. At least we know that the standard what to follow the ESG.
Okay, when we look at the situation in Malaysia, and most of the Malaysian companies, especially on the SMEs, are looking at the ESG as the compliance or exercise or cost pressure on them, because whatever is not bringing them the, let's say, a fast return on the money, working with the tiny margins, then it is understandable. So looking at this, they will be looking at what's the main pressure point. It is the cost. So as other mentioned, they are looking at something that is big, that needs to put a lot of the money on the table to run the ESG. But actually, it is not the case. They can get a grant, and situation is changing with the NSRF framework that has been introduced in the 24, and that's going to have a full impact on 25 for the big companies, and for the SMEs on the 26 and the 27, which is smaller and the more clear regulatory ways. So in this way, those companies can start on the small level, and they will be able to grow later according to the needs or according to the innovation and regulatory. So in this part, there's also companies that are looking at the ESG not in the old way, that's something that is actually helping them to maintain continuity in their business, looking at the total value chain in the world, but also looking in the contracts with the suppliers, that they will be looking whether we are ESG compatible or we have a started. So then the main thing is that we should not be looking, I'm looking from the industry point, because I'm from industry or from the 25 years and plus. So ESG should not be looked primarily as a reporting framework. It's supposed to be looked as a performance framework. So what does it mean? It means that we need to incorporate sustainability into the way how we operate on the daily basis. And if you are mentioning those scope 3 points, then we are looking at the direct emission, we are looking at the energy emission, and then looking at the value chain emission. So if you look at the logistics part, and from there, the way how you optimize your logistics, because logistics and the movement of the goods, whether in the trucks, whether in the ships, is the biggest creator of the carbon. So how you redesign network, the way how you do route optimization or utilization of the trucks or utilization of the vehicles, or whatever kind of it is going to impact. It's going to impact full cost, fuel cost is going down, carbon emission is going down, and your delivery efficiency is going down. So there is a connection between the efficiency in the operation and the carbon emission. And this, I believe, we should look carbon emission as a carbon currency. If most of the people in the SME start looking as a carbon as a currency, then their mindset also is going to be changing slowly. And the day that will be regulatory directed later. So the earlier they start, and the better is going to be for them. And I think the MAPAN Summit is going to address this quite in detail with the academical part, with the research, as well on the industry performances. We'll be sharing a number of the framework that NSRF is available, and we will be working on a different level with the different SMEs, depending whether smaller or bigger, and what they can implement and what could be fitting them in the best way in the terms of their business, so that they can practicing it and start searching for the solution or for the financial, or start working with that with frameworks and with the clarity on those frameworks, because that is one of the biggest issue that the standard the industry is having, is clarity, because there are so many frameworks, everyone is reporting and looking for the different way just to tick the box. But when we have a clear and a concise way of reporting and what needs to be done, held by the academic, that's going to be fitting into the NSRF mode, then it will be helping them.
So as we know, nowadays CSR activity is actually quite normal. Okay, but in fact, CSR, most of the time CSR activity is actually, we call it as one-term activity. So which means that the activity conducted and then that's it. So rather than make it as a CSR initiative, I hope that delegates will learn to adopt the circular approaches. Okay, for example, waste to wealth model. Okay, which is one of the quite important criteria in this summit. And then, of course, not to mention plastic reductions, and as well as plastics responsible productions and design. So by integrating these kind of models, so the organizations can reduce both regulatory and reputation risk. So at the same time, okay, they might, or most of the time, they will generate new income. So for example, okay, so a manufacturing company, so they manufacturing produce something, and there must be some waste. Rather than just throw away or send to the vendors, so they can reuse the waste and then to generate another kind of the product so that they can generate more income. And also, one of the very real case of mine, I have one contact. He come up with a company that actually collecting the waste and then upcycle it into the sellable products, which means that the company is actually generating the income without paying any raw material. Okay, for example, they will collect the jeans, the jeans pant, and then they upcycle into the stylish bag, and then they will recycle the plastic waste into the what you call it, the hot plate holder. So they are generating income. At the same time, they also helps the low income families, because those stitchings, everything, they're actually done by the low income family. So which is, I think, this circular models is very good. I think, okay, for now, the most actionable circular opportunities for Malaysian industries, okay, that will be a waste to wealth model. Okay, as I mentioned just now. Okay, there will also be plastic reductions. Try to reduce the plastic portions in the product, as well as the EPR, we call it. Okay, it's called Extended Producer Responsibility Readiness. So I mean, our events actually strongly emphasizing the turning the waste into strategy opportunities to create new revenue or actually reduce the cost through waste to wealth model. At the same time, so those dedicated focus on single-use plastics and waste reductions, which tie directly into implementing practical EPR program, so which is the Extended Producer Responsibility Program. So by integrating these targeted circular approaches, so the organizations can actually shift from just complying the regulation up to unlocking new economical pathway. So enhancing the operational resilience and securing a competitive edge in this evolving green economy.
There's always a challenge when it comes to these ESG things, but as a start of this ESG, I just advise the companies just start as a baby step, yeah. Because ESG actually is currently we are trying our best to actually implement the ESG, but of course we cannot compete with developed country like Europe side that they already established on the ESG things. We hope that even though we are lacking behind on this ESG, but we hope that all the corporations will be taking a baby step to try to implement. And also the support is there, the government support is there. A lot of fundings are available for all the companies who are go towards the ESG. In fact, as a start of implement the ESGs, we are actually did not forcing too much on the company, but because of the natures that environment change so fast, and other part of the world they already implement, we are lacking behind. Just for incidents that Indonesia is catching up very fast in terms of carbon trade, carbon exchange, and Malaysia is just going to step up. So we did not force too much on the company because we understand the current economy unstable. So profit is the main concern for all the company. So we hope that at the same time, they also not relax for these ESG things, and they are catching up, because if not, they will be lacking out for the competitiveness compared to other parts of the world. In fact, we have the initials we set up this conference is because we want to have more integrate from different part of the world. At least we know that is a motivation for Malaysians to follow. And also we also have a award, the best company award. Then we also have a paper award, and those who are academians want to publish the papers, you can go to publish the papers with the help of our conference. And also most important, we want to share the knowledge in different part of floor. how they implement the ESGs in this summit.
Basically, as we heard before, the summit is quite unique because this is one of those rare conferences, summits or conferences where you bring academia and practitioners together. Usually conferences will have academic conferences where academics talk to themselves and practitioners conferences where it's mostly practitioners. But in this conference, it is an opportunity for academics to share their research, and the audience will be practitioners as well. So there will be a lot of exchange of ideas, and this is always I find it very helpful when academia share their research with practitioners, is the practitioners can give them some valuable input in terms of what problems they are facing or some issues with the methodology of the project, of the paper. And it's helpful as well for the practitioners to take away some understanding of where academic research is going. So it's a good attempt to bridge the gap that we talked about for academic research to be shared with the practitioners. And also on that note, academia have a critical role in translating research into practical frameworks that organizations can use. So one of the ambitions of the summit is to bridge the gap, as I said before. So ESG frameworks become usable tools for decision makers rather than purely academic discussions. And there are a lot of findings and research insights which will be helpful to convince the practitioners of the merits of using the ESG frameworks as well. Publishing academically, it's quite a niche itself. The academic world has got its own rules and regulations. But we have what we call Scopus Index journals. That means these are reputable journals which are acknowledged worldwide. So in this conference, we have 6 journals which have agreed to partner with us, in the sense that when the selection committee, the scientific committee selects the papers which they think fit the journals, we will recommend to the journal, but the papers will actually go through another review by the journal themselves. So what the conference is doing is facilitating academics to be able to reach to the top journals through the conference. So with the recommendation from the scientific committee chair, the papers have a better chance of getting accepted or actually going into the process for review in these top journals. Because normally, if you understand the academic world, academic research journals, the top ones, the acceptance rate is usually about 5 to 6%. Most papers that go to these top journals get rejected at the desktop review. So what we help is by actually making sure the authors have addressed key issues. And when we recommend to the journals, it is more likely to go to a review process in the journal. But we are not promising that the papers will be published ultimately, but it opens the door for them. We have the 5 themes that we have for the summit. So any of these themes will be relevant because all the 6 journals have got different focus areas. We have a journal of Accounting in Emerging Economies, where they're looking at climate disclosures and other accounting issues, SME issues related to disclosures and financial accounting in the emerging world. And then we have a Journal of Applied Accounting Research, which will look at, for example, ESG frameworks as they are applied in the context of in an organization. And we have many other interdisciplinary journals as well. So every journal, the 6 journals have got topics or themes that are aligned to our summit's 5 themes.
As a SME entrepreneur in the sector of automotive industry and also chemical detergents manufacturer. So my point of view is they really give us a very good opportunity to expose our ESG to the international level, from Malaysia to international standard. So I find out it's very helpful to explore and to enhance our company branding especially in this E, or environment, social, and governance. So based on this ESG under MAPAN, we really achieved some, especially through the IRED, renewable energy certificate by PUSA. Also, we company like Unext industry, we actually already achieved, I can say it's a scope to net zero. We go through the IRED MAPAN. So it really helped us to start from zero, no knowledge until we call this carbon credit calculations.
We are saying that is theory to practice, the focus of our summit. And we bring about academician as well as industrialists. So for the academician, they will want to know what happened and what is the latest, what are the up-to-date developments in ESG at the industry level. Yeah. And for the industrialists, they will want to know whatever that I have done, does it cope up or match with what is the best practice in the academic development. This is where the study tour comes in. When the participants go around to see the state-of-art facilities, there will be about 4 to 5 visits that participant can select. They can go and see co-room. They can go and see one of the most up-to-date manufacturing plant, and they can also go and see a record management facilities. Most people knows that you keep stock in the warehouse, but not many people know that warehouse also keep important documents. Banks keep their contracts in the warehouse, which are different from the normal warehouse. So this give a different perspectives to the participants. They start to see that ESG is not just something that is relevant to most of the industries or trade that we know of. Like cold chain, if we are not involved in cold supply or logistic warehousing, like what Namin is familiar with, then you may not have even a chance to see how a cold room looks like. The same thing can happen is you go to a green facility, you start to see, oh, buildings are like this, where they use natural sunlight, they reduce the use of, say, lighting, and then the ventilation is done properly, whereby you can reduce the use of electricity or aircon. So these are the things that touches on theory to practice.
As Dr. Ben mentioned earlier, my focus will be more on getting the industry players to be more aware of the ESG. Yeah. And in this respect, we are looking at those who are in the industry who are not able to reach out and spend more time in getting, as we said, academic and the practice part. So we are introducing the programs on micro-credentials to the universities and also to the practitioners, people on the ground. It's very important for us to reach out to them, that the academic framework or the fundamental must be known first and then do the practice. It's a vice versa, actually, but it'd be good for them to be engaged in this program. So we have started discussing with the universities, and we hope that will be implemented in the next quarter. And they'll be one of the participants in the summit to support this program. It's very important because micro-credential is something that is being lauded by Ministry of Higher Education. For those, it's considered as lifelong learning. For those who are laggards or who feel that it's time for me to learn more or to get more, and this is the way forward. It's a very, should I say, the in thing of the day. If you miss in the early days of your life, you never miss it. This is the time to take advantage of it. And MAPAN is really driving to that, bridging the gap, basically. From this perspective, we are working with the university. We are expecting that the participants or volunteers from the industry partners, and sign up for this program. and it is on a modular basis. Yeah, micro-credential, you can take one by one. So by 6 months, we should be seeing some numbers. I can't guarantee anything, but we're putting a KPI to ourselves and making sure that the industry players and their staff or workforce are getting into this. So 6 months down the road, I think at the end of this summit, we should be able to see some light or some output of that.
Looking from the industry point of view and from the operational point of view, the biggest fear, biggest difficulties that all of the industry is having, whether it's SME or even sometimes you're having the GLC or being, even though they're having a big amount of the money to disclose, is actually cost and the clarity how to go about the ESG reporting. And the other part is that it is looked as how we can say that it is more as compliance, it is more on the reporting framework. That is the how it is perceived as a reporting, something that is must do, is forced upon them. And actually, it's supposed to be looked as a performance framework. So if the companies can move from this reporting framework structure to the performance framework, which is going to embody into sustainability in the way as operation. So when you are looking your operation, and it is also containing the sustainability effort inside that. As I mentioned also previously when I was talking, if you are decreasing the cost of logistic, you are getting better or optimize your transportation, your warehousing, your inventories are better aligned. So you are having a less waste, so you're having a less wastage or throwing away the things. If you are collaborating with your suppliers in the terms of the ESG, so that you can work collaboratively with them and have maybe reverse logistics. I think Ben will also be quite well known on this. Then you together will be able also to decrease the carbon emission. And the other part, if I can see, if I tell the organization that stop looking is as carbon only as a carbon emission, is a carbon currency. Because if you embody it into your operation and you are able to decrease cost, to decrease the fuel usage, to use the more green energy into the lighting or offices or like, then you are able to decrease the cost and the emission of the carbon. That is actually also decreasing the basic thing, which is the most important thing for those companies, is the cost. So in the way, looking also on those frameworks that can be delivered in the way that it is not strained to the SMEs or company, it is also connected to the better profitability. So if you could catch what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is actually that it is moving from the reporting framework to the performance framework embodied into the daily operation that will drive carbon decrease, and also that's going to drive cost down. So it means it's not going to be impacting the profit, actually is going to be helping. I'm not touching also on the part that is working with the suppliers, working with the value chains that will be looking for the ESG compatibles.
For the one message, instead of ESG is a profit center. If businesses think about what Namin said, carbon is a currency. If you reduce carbon, you reduce the use of, say, water, electricity, or even manpower, you basically reduce carbon. So carbon is as good as saving money. So if you can save money, meaning to say you will have higher profit. So ESG become a profit center in that sense. Yeah. On the score that by you becoming more carbon conscious, then you are more productive. Being more productive meaning you can have more time to service more customers. So that's where the profit center mentality comes in. So that's one message that we want to impart to the participants coming to our summit. Second is, why should the delegates commit early? If they wait and see, of course, they can wait because our event is only in July. But bearing in mind that this is a HRDF claimable cost. So the earlier on they prepare and they get the approval, the chance of they be able to attend and experience the journey of other people and learn from there is higher. If they apply late and the grant is not approved in time, then they may not have a chance to really get connected and network with the people who are already there, who are already in their ESG adoption process, and they are good at it, because we know it is going to be a mandate or something compulsory to be done if you are Sdn Bhd. And thirdly, our invitation to the corporate, to MSME, to academics, students, sponsors, or solution providers is that all. If you all decide early and buy the idea that this NSRF is going to be a de facto standard, the earlier on they know, the better it is for them to prepare. And it is a good chance in the sense that this summit is a marketplace. It brings together local, foreign, university students, university academicians, plus the industrialists who are already in the ESG circuit. So this is a place or a chance that not available every day. Even if you go to other event or other conference of this nature, they are not a combination of academia and industries, and industrialists will not have a chance to even participate in ESG Innovation Challenge. As what Dr. Chan explained earlier, this Innovation Challenge actually are inviting submissions of ideas from the industries, apart from the university undergraduates who are pursuing master's degree or PhD degree, for them to get their qualification, they need to go through this kind of process. And the connection here is this: if our evaluation committee find that the ideas that come in into the innovation challenge is that good, then we can link them to our investor public, because we have also investment houses, we have banking sectors, financial so-called venture capitalists coming to this event, so we can connect them. The network is there. So in the nutshell, it is a marketplace. It is a marketplace where everyone and the free exchange over the 2 days plus a gala dinner is the best chance. Just like you go to market, you buy everything, or you go to a supermarket, you get everything that you need, instead of you go around so many places and then over so many days.
One short sentence, what I want to say also. The companies that will have upper hand or we can say that will be in the lead in the next decade are actually those who understand that sustainability actually is not the cost. It's something that's going to give them the platform to sustain their business, to be first to start. And as they have been said that if they are starting small, if they are small, then they have to start slow with the small steps. And in the MAPAN, we will have the way how to connect them and how to help them in those parts. So carbon reduction and actually operational efficiencies for all the industry, because all the industry will be looking for efficiencies that are going to decrease their costs, and in the same time the cost the decrement is actually decreasing also the carbon. If we look at, actually it is the same journey. So it is not the cost added, it is actually that can create the profitability.